Hello. Hello. Let me just. How is everyone? I can see Lizzie's joined. Where are you calling in from, Lizzie? If you could just mention in the chat your age and where you're calling in from, so we can start to get an idea of who's on the call. Also, Spencer, whereabouts are you calling in from? Brighton, amazing. It must be very sunny down there. Cool. Okay, fantastic. Well, I'm just going to jump straight into it in terms of what we're going to cover today in our event of how to hack luck. So the name might be slightly misleading, but essentially we're going to teach and give a bit of insight into how you can maximize your chances of being successful. And luck is kind of something that we see as happening to us, not something that we can create for ourselves. So how do we actually maximize our chances of coming across those opportunities that really make or break our career? So I won't go into a whole monologue about my story and how that happened for me, but there are lots of opportunities when people go, wow, you're so lucky to have been given that particular opportunity, or this thing came across, or you were awarded for this particular thing. And actually, a lot of it is due to the foundation and the work that you put in beforehand to actually maximize those chances of you receiving those particular opportunities. So first things first, who am I to be talking to you about luck? So my name's Sydney Samuels. I'm the founder and managing director of Loop Not Luck. So Loop Not Luck is a diverse talent acquisition platform. And what we do is we connect underrepresented talent with all of the different career opportunities that are out there and that are relevant for them. So networks play such a huge part in the types of opportunities that you are given access to and made aware of. So yeah, we connect underrepresented talent, mostly university students at the moment, and our app is launching in the App Store this July. But we connect them to different organizations who are really looking to reach underrepresented communities and people who would be fantastic in their roles, but don't actually have that network to tap into or know about the amazing opportunities that are out there. I'm also on the board of the Careers and Enterprise Company's Youth Advisory Group. You might have seen the Career and Enterprise Company in a booth hanging around. I work with them a lot in terms of improving careers education for schools across the UK. And I'm also a mentor to lots of different students across England, helping them with career decisions, applying for different opportunities. So any kind of questions that you have during the session or after the session, please feel free to just pop them in the chat box or to send them to me afterwards. I'll be more than happy to help you out personally with any particular kind of career questions that you have. So let's jump into it. Could some of you that are live, I can see Kira's just joined, Susan, tell me how confident you are feeling about your future career prospects. Give me a 1 to 10 in terms of how confident you're feeling about this, and hopefully by the end you'll be at a higher number. I'll just wait for those to come through. Okay, 3, 4, 6. Okay. Hopefully we'll be at a solid 8 or 9 by the end of this session. That is my mission, okay? Okay, great. That's good to know. So the main message in terms of what we're covering today is that there are some things that are within your control and there are some things that are just not within your control. So a really obvious example is a global pandemic. That is something that neither of us can control. So if I'm honest, there's no point really worrying about it. There are things that are within your control. So putting yourself forward for different opportunities. making sure that you take control over your own mental health and well-being. And these are all things that can contribute towards your chances of success and getting lucky in the future. And this is a metaphor that I think is a really important thing to keep in the back of your mind when you're going through your career journey. And it's actually at the beginning, in the first kind of 10 years of your career, if you think about it as building the foundation for your future and for your career and who you want to be, the wider, the stronger, the deeper roots that your foundation has, first of all, the less likely it is to cave in when different things, when you build up your career and your experiences, but also the higher your peak and your potential can be. So this is really focusing on building that bottom block and building that foundation so that you can adapt and pivot and reach your potential, which is right at the top. So how can we build our base? I know that quite a few of you are at different stages in your educational career. So if you're at school, putting yourself forward for school council or putting yourself forward for different opportunities, reaching out to your career advisor or leader within your school or some teachers who you trust that may be able to connect you to different opportunities you didn't know existed. If you're at university, making relationships with lots of different people within your year, within your cohort, because those connections will end up being invaluable, and you never know, they might refer you on to an internship or a scheme that you would have never heard about if you hadn't built that connection or built that relationship. So it's really about opening yourself up to as many opportunities as possible, so that you can take advantage of all of the things that are out there for you. So very quickly in the chat, do you know what you want to do? I mean, I'm obviously working full time on my own business, and maybe, do I know what I want to do when I grow up? I'm not too sure. But especially when you're studying, I think you either fall into two boxes. It's either, yes, I have a very good idea of the type of career that I want to do and maybe the industry, or no, I have absolutely no idea of what I want to do and I'm open to being inspired. So give me a yes. Okay, a yes, a no. Cool. Okay. Okay, so it's pretty 50-50 actually, which is perfect in terms of there are things that you can do to improve your chances of luck when you do know what you want to do, and reassuredly, there are things that you can do when you don't know what you want to do. So for those who don't know what they want to do, it's really about actually going out there and doing it and giving it a go, because you never know what you like until you give it a try, and putting yourself forward for lots of different things. So I gave examples before of the different things that you can do to improve your chances of being lucky and realizing those different opportunities, and actually creating opportunities for yourself is something that you can do. So when I was kind of trying to figure out what it is I wanted to do with myself and my career, I was someone who was an all-rounder. So I wasn't particularly amazing at anything. I was kind of okay at most things. And I was someone who was an all-rounder and wasn't really a specialist. And that kind of creates some confusion when you're trying to pick a definitive career. And depending on kind of what stage you're at, if you're actually out there looking for a full-time job, then I'd advise that you maybe narrow in a little bit so that you can really prepare yourself for those interviews. But if you're still going through your kind of educational journey, then actually putting yourself forward for lots of different things helps to build up that base that we were talking about in terms of you being able to actually work out what you're good at, also what you don't like, because what you don't like is just as important as what you do like in life. Because there are loads of people that are in jobs because maybe that's what their parents have said that they should do, or that's what they've kind of fallen into, and they haven't actually taken the time to work out what is it that I'm good at, what is it that I really enjoy, and alongside those questions, what I don't like and what I don't enjoy are just as important things to know. So go out there, have those experiences, and the worst that can happen when you put yourself forward for something is that you're in the exact same position that you're in right now. So building on that, it's like, it's not to actually limit yourself. If something seems unrealistic and completely like out of this world in terms of there's a 0.01% chance that you're going to make it, I would advise that you put yourself forward for it, and you put all your energy and all of your effort behind making it happen, because it is possible. It's not impossible. So if it's possible, why can't you do it? And yeah, so if you don't know what you want to do, it's actually not a hindrance. It actually opens up so many more doors for you to be able to explore lots of different industries and potential career paths. So for those of you who said yes, you do know what you want to do, Neelam, Alison, yeah. So it would be great if you could mention in the chat if you feel comfortable, what it is you think that you want to do when in the next stage of your career, and I can maybe give some tailored advice to you guys. But if you do know what you want to do, you can focus this advice on a particular industry. So I'm gonna use law as an example. So my friend Nelly, she actually, while she was studying law at university, she decided that she was going to reach out to someone who was a few steps ahead of her. So this is someone who'd got a training contract in a law firm. Oh, something in education. Okay, fantastic. A training contract in law. So they'd gone through the exact same process that she was about to go through. So this person was able to give her the kind of insider information to some degree in terms of what it is she should be focusing on, what she should be training herself up on. And whilst it might seem kind of intuitive to go to someone for advice who's maybe the CEO or the partner in the company, it's actually the people that are maybe slightly lower down the rung in the ladder are a lot more accessible, that have the time to be able to dedicate to help you get to the next step. And when we think about our future, you usually think about it almost at the end, when you are the CEO of a multi-billion-pound company, or when you are kind of traveling around the world giving speeches and you're at the pinnacle of your career. But for someone to get to that stage, there were lots of little steps that they had to take to be able to cultivate that base that we were talking about, and to actually to get to that stage and to have the solid foundation to, when they do reach that stage and that peak of their career, not to crumble. So reaching out to people who are a few steps ahead of you in your chosen career, I think, is probably the number one thing that you can do to get that next step and work out that next move. And similarly to, if you don't know what you want to do, build a range of different experiences. But when you do know what you want to do, make sure that you're thinking about, okay, how does this map onto a particular industry? So Alison, you said, Neelam, you said something in education. So maybe if you're volunteering for a particular charity or something like that, make sure it's an education-based charity. Or maybe you're putting yourself forward for, I'm not sure how old you are, Neelam, but the Careers and Enterprise Company, they have a youth advisory group that I'm a member of. That's all about improving careers education across England. So putting yourself forward for the next cohort of that gives you some unique experience that stands out when you're putting yourself forward for different opportunities. And when you've got something different about you that people are really interested in and want to know more about, that allows you to honestly just to stick in people's minds. And that makes a huge difference when they're looking through tens and tens of different application forms. They'll be like, oh yes, Neelam, she had something really, really interesting about her, and we had a great conversation about something that wasn't in my briefing notes. And yeah, and again, not to limit yourself. So I've got another friend, I don't know why all my friends wanted to or do law, but she did throughout her entire school time, A-levels and first year of university, said that she 100% wanted to be a lawyer. She got into a law firm and absolutely hated it and realized, you know what, I cannot do this for the rest of my life. This is unbelievably boring. But because she'd built a range of experiences, point two, that are applicable to law, but also are applicable to lots of other industries. When she had that experience, she was able to pivot and use those opportunities to forge a career in a different path. And one message, that if you go away with anything today, is that actually this is not about me kind of giving you all of the tips and information to say, you know what, after this session, I 100% want to be a marketing executive. It's about giving you the skills and understanding that actually you need to go out there and build up your own bank and your own arsenal of skills, experiences, contacts, relationships, and different things that as challenges and obstacles come your way, you're actually able to navigate those landscapes and adapt to things that we can't even anticipate. Again, the things that are just out of our control. If we are all-rounders and we can actually say, you know what, this kind of redundancy, or this kind of this, like the market crashing or something like that, is something that I wasn't expecting, but I have the skills and the experience in my arsenal and in my bank to be able to adapt to this unforeseen situation. I think that's what really can create luck to some degree, and actually help you forge your way forward in whatever career path you choose. So, in summary, control what you can and anticipate what you can't. You want to build your base and build those solid foundations. So early on in your career, it's all about getting those experiences under your belt, understanding yourself, and actually being honest with yourself. Do I want to work in something like this? Am I passionate about it? Do I like the people that I'm working with? And all of these questions that will only come from actually getting in the door and seeing what it's really like in reality, and not just what people tell you or what you read online. So I've actually just listed out some actionable things that you can do today to take control over how lucky you might be. So you can reach out to someone in your industry, upskill yourself. Obviously, there are loads of resources online at the moment. Kind of creating your own opportunities. If there's something that you're really passionate about, creating a campaign or a Kickstarter, or raising money for charity, or even creating your own business around a particular interest. And it doesn't need to be academic or business focused. It can be it can be your own personal passion. And one of these things that I'd really like to just point out in particular is actually taking the time to reflect and redirect. So reflect and redirect, especially at kind of at this stage in your life when you're trying to get your foot into the door with lots of different opportunities. It can seem very, very overwhelming. There's a lot of things being thrown at you. And actually, it's okay to say no to some opportunities, just as it's okay to say yes and take advantage of all the things that are out there for you. And whilst I'm all about keeping your options open and getting as many things under your belt as possible, at some point you will have a natural kind of feeling to narrow down your interests and redirect. And when you do get those feelings and you are feeling overwhelmed, that is a time to kind of take a pause and to actually say, you know what, maybe I'm going to focus in on this particular area, or maybe I don't want to work in this particular area, or whatever your gut is telling you. Make sure to listen. And yeah, that's it really. If there are any questions in terms of any personal questions in terms of like your progression, or different things that you want to ask me from a career advice perspective, I'd be more than happy to answer them in the chat. And any ones that are in the chat at the moment, if we don't get around to them before we get cut off, then they will be sent directly to me and I will make sure to answer them. Liz said, other than university events, where can I find out more events / programs that will help build experiences? Oh, Rachel's popped in a link, which is really useful. Hi, Rachel. So there are lots of different events and webinars that are put online. So Eventbrite is a fantastic place where you can go and have a search. Obviously, Loop Not Luck. That's exactly the problem that we're trying to tackle, in terms of making sure that you can have a curated list of experiences that are relevant to you, so that you don't have to search through thousands and thousands of search results. Okay. And if you scan that QR code, that will take you to my website, and that will also take you to the link for the Loop Not Luck website, where you can sign up if you are a university student and looking for different career opportunities. That will be launching in July. Cool. Any other questions? I can see some people are typing. Are there any websites you can recommend about jobs but not recruitment agencies? Alison, do you mean kind of to find out about different industries, and what kind of jobs might be relevant to you? Or do you mean websites for events and things like that? Spencer, I feel kind of intimidated by most of my options, like apprenticeships and uni. They seem like very lengthy commitments. Yeah, I recognize that. And especially when you're not sure what you want to do, especially university, it can seem like a big financial commitment, and a big time commitment. But I would just urge you to make the decision that you feel is right for you. And if you want to reach out to me personally, we can have a kind of a proper chat about the options that you feel are best for you, Spencer. I'll put my email address in the chat, or you can message me via the link on my website, and I'd be more than happy to kind of have an honest conversation with you. But at the end of the day, like, obviously you don't want to pull out of university or pull out of apprenticeships. You want to follow things through, but doing things that create more options for you, I think is going to be the best way forward. So don't think of it as a commitment. Think of it as a stepping stone towards more things and more options for you. So that is why I chose Asian philosophy as my university degree, and then I ended up going into financial services. So completely unrelated. But yeah, I think that obviously the commitment is a big deal, but yeah, try and think of it as a stepping stone rather than the be all and end all. Yeah, Spencer, you can also speak to someone at the National Career Service. Yeah, they've got some kind of accredited professional advisors to find out about jobs. Yes, to find out about jobs. So yeah, you can go on to kind of loads of different job boards, Alison, to find out about different jobs and read the job descriptions. I would also, if there's a particular industry, so marketing, charity, government, public sector, what I would do actually to find, if you want to just get an honest opinion about what it's like to work within those particular industries, is if you haven't got a LinkedIn profile, create one and reach out to a few people who are already working within that industry and just say, hi, I'm interested in starting a career in this industry, but not too sure about what life's like, what the day-to-day is really like. I'd really appreciate 20 minutes of your time, and turn up to that meeting with a few questions and things that show that you've prepared for it, and things that you can't find answers to online. And that will give you the insight that you're looking for, and also at the same time help you to build relationships up with people in that industry. So I would say less websites, because you can just Google any kind of question that you want and get the answer, get a generic answer to it. But if you want an honest opinion of what life's like to work, what it's like on a day-to-day basis in those industries, I would say talk to the people who are doing it. Yeah, fantastic. I think those are all our questions. But yeah. No, it's been great. And thank you guys for joining our session. And hopefully you feel like you're equipped to take control over the over the luck that comes your way. And yeah, it's really about you taking your future into your own hands and realizing that anything is within your reach as long as you put in the effort and the hard work. So yeah. I'll stay on for any more questions, but if not, feel free to message me or kind of drop a message via my website, or sign up to Look Not Luck if you are a university student who is looking for a curated stream of career opportunities. Oh, no, thank you. Thank you, guys. I love the messages. Amazing. Cool. Well, have a lovely rest of your day, everyone, and I will see you soon, hopefully. Thank you.